All right, Ian, I'm excited.
So, Intellivision came out. The Amiko had a 20-minute video put out about the controller. So we watched it. I watched the whole thing.
It started with like 5 or 6 minutes of our pal Tommy Talrico explaining the controller and its design with like graphics and mock-up images.
Yeah, showing the controller, explaining some basic things about it. There are some things that I do like about the controller, namely that it can be oriented in any direction, so it's ambidextrous.
Because there's buttons on both sides.
It's buttons on both sides, but it uses the accelerometer or the gyrometer, so it'll tell which way you're holding it.
Like a cell phone, when you flip it around.
Like a cell phone, yeah. So you can use it with the disc on the right side, or you can use it with the disc on the left side. Admittedly, I am a big fan of anything that allows lefties to use a controller any way that they are comfortable.
So using the thumb pad on the right, you would love that.
I mean, I use it on, see, that's the thing. It shows him and other people holding it on the right, which that is supposed to be a left-handed way of holding things. But that strikes me as very uncomfortable. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that I can hold it upside down, that's actually great. I like that. I wish more consoles had controllers that let you swap shit around. I wish more games like on the 360 and the PS3, the Xbox One, etc., would let me swap the functions of sticks easily, so that I could mess around with it. That's all well and good. But I gotta say the buttons, so it's got,
it has a disc pad on the bottom.
So it has the disc pad. You
like
can hold
Intellivision.
Left, right, disc pad. It's got the buttons on the side.
Indented buttons.
I don't like the buttons at all. I don't like the indented nature of the buttons, and the positioning of the buttons was always a problem for me to begin with, on top of the fact that I don't particularly like the idea of a controller disc over a pad.
Well, that's insane. We know that there's no advantage to having a disc besides if you really want to have it that specifically analog going all the way around, then use a thumb joystick if you're going to do that. Use a thumbstick,
So,
but here's the thing about indented buttons that I really have to feel the controller and get that insider info to know. When you're playing, this is supposed to be touted as, in a lot of Intellivision arcade game remakes and things like that.
Right.
When you're playing arcade games, you're usually pressing buttons repeatedly or in quick succession. I'm not sure how that's going to work with indented buttons, because in my experience with indented buttons, it doesn't feel the same or as spring back as easily as smooth edge buttons. Basically,
they're indented and they're recessed, which means so you can hold it on the side, and it shows that it has some rounded grip on the back, so you can hold it like a controller, and they're kind of there as shoulder buttons. But yes, indented buttons have never been particularly easy to press or comfortable to press.
Because it's weird, because they don't go in as much when you press them, so there's not as much feedback when they come out. It's just a different feel than a regular face, like A and B button. It's just different.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
So that to me is going to be a potential issue if you're going to play any game where you're going to be like that, or like even it's going to feel weird. It won't feel, the tactile feedback won't be as a regular button.
Yeah, we'll get to the demo. Well, I mean, there's the Intellivision App Demo in a minute, but it shows you literally like 10 seconds of Moon Patrol. I don't see that being particularly. I don't see there being any benefit to using the shoulder or the indented buttons on the sides as opposed to using just a normal face
We'll get
button.
to the app in a bit. But it's they thought about doing wireless charging, and they said no because it's not as efficient. It doesn't make any sense. So it's going to be standard charging with with the little gold little connectors.
Contact
charging in your little,
which is still
foot massage looking device.
I would still call that wireless.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, to a degree, you're not. That confused me for a minute. I thought they just took it when I was watching it initially. I thought they took it out completely, and then he finished, and he was like, "No, it's contact. It's still without a wire." That's fine. The fact that the charger's built in, I do like the fact that you can just rest it and charge it as opposed to using a cord.
Sure.
And it's faster.
And there is obviously a USB connector if you want to plug it into.
Right.
There. Okay, so then do you want to talk about then he talks to a few of the devs that are working on the controller. Let's just talk about the other features real quick on the controller here. So you got, like I said, it's just basically smartphone technology. You got an accelerometer, you got a gyrometer, touch capacitor. So you'll be able to, obviously in space, it'll know what angle and what position the controller's at, like anything a smartphone can do. Pretty much.
I think the Wii remote could do from the Motion Plus era up, I think, is basically what's in there.
Sure.
Plus a screen. They did say that they were changing the screen from resistive, which is really old, shitty to capacitive.
What uses resistive anymore?
The DS was the last thing that I could remember. The 3DS was the last thing I could remember. So they did say they were changing it to capacitive, so that should be more like, what, an iPhone?
Yeah. You'll be able to be pinpointing and be able to stretch things or, zoom in.
Multi-touch.
Multi-touch. There you go, Ian. So it's basically 12-year-old technology. I'm being generous here on most of this stuff. Whenever you had a smartphone can do this stuff. All right, so then they talk to... He goes into the cubicles, Tommy, and talks to a few of the devs who are nice people here that are working on the technology here, and interviews them. And what did you think about those portions? Did those give you any sort of a positive or negative sort of reinforcement on what your feelings on this?
No, I kind of felt bad for the devs. It looked like they were particularly snuck up upon in the middle of work, but. One thing that I would point out is one of the devs, it's about 15 minutes into the video, and this goes back to the controller. I think he's really fighting against this controller, and I think he's being stubborn about it.
Who's fighting me, Tommy?
Tommy's, fighting. Like, he's fighting for this controller, and at the end of the video, he talks about, too, he's like telling people, just give it a chance, give it a chance. Even the dev, so the dev pulls up, and this is a cool thing. The fact that you can use your smartphone as additional controllers is nice. The dev pulls up a mock-up of a smartphone of the Intellivision controller.
So it has a virtual disk.
It's got a virtual disk. It's got the screen area, and then it's got buttons. So obviously it doesn't have the buttons on the side of the phone like the controller does.
Those are home buttons on a phone.
So it has... Above the screen area on the phone, it has 2 buttons, and then below it has 2 buttons, which is, well, they're adjusting where they are, but it's approximating where they would be on the actual controller.
Virtual face buttons.
Right, it has virtual face buttons approximating where it would go, and then there's 2 buttons on the edge that aren't on the controller, and the guy points to him and goes, these aren't on the controller, but they're here because we can't have buttons on the side. It's just easy to have buttons here. He says
it's kind of easy to have buttons here. Meaning the face buttons.
Meaning the face buttons that are not on the normal controller, the 2 on the end, which when you hold it, whether you flip it to the left or the right, would give you 2 buttons whereabouts you would have a normal buttons on a controller. And the dev straight up says it's easy to have buttons here because it is. Having the buttons on the side for aesthetic reasons is silly.
Aesthetic and nostalgic reasons, because that's what the Intellivision had. It had your side action buttons.
Exactly. It's silly.
It's the most weird thing ever, and
even the dev is like the
dev is admitting that face buttons are nice.
Face buttons are nice. They make sense.
Yes, there's no disadvantage to having face buttons on a controller. There's a reason every controller has had face buttons going back now 35 years. There's a reason you have them as your action buttons. It's easier, and you can have other accoutrements, or you can still have a couple of, up top. Put a face button or 2 on there. Put 2. The Wiimote had face buttons on it. It had everything else going on with the accelerometer and gyroscope, and the Wii you can still use it as a regular controller. You should have both. I mean, we're talking 2020 here. We figured this shit out with video games, what works and what isn't. You're not going to reinvent the wheel at this point in time. The thing that's disconcerting to me, and I'm being as fair as possible to my pal Tommy, is that when you have any smartphone that could act the same as your controller, that you're paying most of the value for on this new console, why do you need the controller anymore if I can use a smartphone? And that goes back to the heart of the issue. Why do you need this when these are mobile games you're playing on a controller that could be your smartphone?
Yeah.
Why? If you can have the disc on there or a D-pad on your phone, and you have the face buttons that'll act the same way as your side indent buttons, the phone has the accelerometer, the phone has the gyroscope, it has the touch capabilities. Obviously, it's a smartphone. Why do I need this controller to play this game? Please answer that question.
Because it looks like an Intellivision controller.
Is that it?
Yes.
That's why I'm going to spend $200 on this console?
Yeah.
In order to play mobile games?
150 to 200.
150 to 200? You think it's going to be closer to 150 or 200?
I'm just going to say 150 because it gives them less room to swipe us for.
Okay. I'm going to say 180. I'm going to split the difference here. So you're spending close to $200 after taxes, and you're going to get mobile games with a device that could be your smartphone to play it. So Tommy in the video says he dances around the fact that these are mobile games.
At the very end, he closes and says they're mobile type, kinda casual, kinda games. They're mobile games.
They're mobile games.
And I mean that's the quality of them. They're mobile quality games.
That's not putting down mobile games.
No, I play lots of mobile games that I like.
Call it what it is.
But
They're mobile games, and for mobile games, you shouldn't need $180 or $150 console to play them.
No.
That's sort of the heart of the issue here. That they're trying to build an ecosystem and having exclusive mobile games that you have to spend a lot of money in order to get.
They're artificially creating an ecosystem that you need to play these games, and you don't. I still have yet to see anything on this system that could not be done with a mobile phone and something else, a different setup.
Or a Nintendo Switch, which is what Tommy laughed at me on Twitter saying, oh, you can't do these games on the Switch. What? What? Really? Really? You can't put your Moon Patrol on the Switch? That was an app, which we'll get into. So
I mean, we're going to jump right into that now.
Yeah, let's jump into the app.
Because it's the perfect segue. So there's an Intellivision Amico Club app. I downloaded it. When you turn it on, it makes you locate an Amiko logo.
It makes you do an augmented reality little thing to find an Amiko logo with your phone, and then it does a little 5-second animation Amiko when you find one.
So the Amiko logo dances, and then it gives you what is literally like 4 jumps in a Moon Patrol demo.
It's making me view it again. I already did it. It's always good to have an artificial wall in front of people being able to go into your app. I'm going to time it right now what it is. So you explain the demo real quick.
So, I mean, if you've ever played Moon Patrol, I love Moon Patrol.
I have. I played in the arcade.
Moon Patrol is a fantastic game. This is a demo of Moon Patrol. So in Moon Patrol, you control a little moon buggy, and you can jump over holes and rocks, and you can shoot. You can shoot rocks, you can shoot aliens, and the goal is to get as far as you can go while playing it.
It's not activating. I'm looking at a logo. Okay.
So I had to make mine bigger to get it to fire up. I had to make it like full screen.
It's always a good idea to do this with an app.
It's fantastic. So it gives you a...
There it is.
So anyways, yes.
There it goes.
You load it up, and you play, and you get a few jumps into it, and it's over, and it says, stay tuned for more.
It's literally like 17 seconds long.
It's very, very short.
It's not even one stage. You get a couple of power-ups. I don't think you can lose. I played it 3 times, and you just shoot everything, and you can't really lose.
You can lose.
You can lose.
Yeah, I checked. You can lose.
You can lose if you don't shoot anything. Okay. It's hard, too, because I got a couple...
you can crash into rocks or fall into the pits.
Okay, then I was really good, because I didn't...
Yeah, I mean, but it took me one try. The thing I had to get used to was the location of the virtual buttons on the touchscreen, because I hate virtual buttons.
Oh, yeah, there's a left and right button, and there's a fire and a jump with an arrow. Okay, yeah. I'll play it right now. You get the arcade sound from the intro music is the same. Okay, there's the jump, and then, okay, the time it's 6, 7, 8.
As soon as you go into the underhang, it's over.
You just keep firing. I mean, I haven't lost once. It's literally before you can't control anymore. It's about 14 seconds.
Yeah. So
it's a proof of concept. It's not a demo. It's proof of concept.
Right. It's a proof of concept.
Sure.
And it's not I mean, if that's the quality of the game I'm going to see, it doesn't seem to be a particularly good Moon Patrol game.
I mean, what else can you do with Moon Patrol? Moon Patrol is a simple game where you just jump and you shoot up at enemies and you move left
and I like
right.
it, but I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And this is not to sound mean. It looks cheap. It looks like a lower end mobile game.
And this, again, goes to the heart of the issue. So when you get this console, you're going to get some baked-in games, and then you're going to have the store to purchase they're going to be between $3 and $10.
Yes.
A game like that on a mobile device should not cost more than a couple of bucks to me. It shouldn't.
I think at this point, with how mobile games have advanced, I think you're looking at 99 cents for that.
I'm not even trying to go after Tommy because we have a vendetta against each other apparently. But like, if for $1 game that I have to spend $170, $180 or $190 on a console to get a handful. Or how many games are built in this thing? Is it 5? Is it 20? How many are built into this? The website's updated. That's a good thing. It doesn't look like it's a GeoCities site anymore. That's a good thing. So you get some games built into here at launch. You get 5 games. So you're basically getting, if you want me to be super generous, Ian, and say these games should cost, and it's probably going to be the Breakouts, might be one of them since there's a Breakout trailer online we'll talk about. You're getting between, we'll say, $15 of games with your $180 console. And on the site, it does say will retail around $200 at launch.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that there's no room for them to swipe us
because that means everything else we say is ridiculous.
Yes,
you're getting $15 of mobile games, Ian, in a $200 charger and 2 devices that your cell phone could also do. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm not wrong. But people think this is going to be something that's going to revolutionize the industry as we know it. And that's not to say these guys aren't doing good work or they believe in what they're doing. But this is a reality. That this has had to be because we know GameStop isn't going to put this on their shelves if they're still around probably. Is Target going to give this a chance, or Walmart? They're going to put on an end cap?
Well, they're putting out the Atari VCS, so I wouldn't say no. On
the website at least. Are they going to have it in the store, you think?
I don't know, but I'm not gonna say anything is definite. Is definite. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, what gets things on the shelves is assertiveness, and I have a feeling Tommy's got that in spades. I have a feling that if he wants this,
he can talk himself into the store.
He can get it on a shelf.
And
that doesn't change that I don't think it's going to sell.
Yeah, you can talk to the buyers at Target and say this is going to be a great hit. But once Target buys it and realizes that no one's buying it, what do you think they're going to? How do you think that relationship's going to go after that point when they realize they can't move the units?
Sure.
Some of the comments are very telling to how the marketing's going here. I don't really need a new console, but listening to Tommy's enthusiasm when he talks about his product has made me want one. I hope it's a huge success. Welcome to being falling for a pitch man. You're falling for a pitch man.
Right, and that goes further back to I still not knowing what the market is for. Yes, family. Yes, friends. Family, friends, together. Friends, family, together. That's all the trailer is. But I get that's who it's trying to be sold to. But even the people who like this, who are saying, I don't need a new console, they like it because they've fallen, like you said, behind a pitch man, not because they see a need for this console. I'm never going to believe that there isn't family-friendly consoles and options already on the market.
This is going to be the most disruptive entertainment product of 2020.
That one made me want to throw up.
Gaming history will be divided in before and after the Amico. That's got to be a troll. That has to be a troll.
I don't know. Some people get really into things.
I've
never said that about anything.
I feel very strongly that we had a great thing going with those old console games of the 80s. Not sure where we went wrong to get us to today's isolating environment. I'm so thankful that Tommy and the Amico team are bringing the family and friends back into the living room again. I can't wait to challenge my kids at a game of skiing on the wood grade Amico. So that's someone that just wants to try to imagine how it was being a kid 35 years ago, 40 years ago, playing their wood grain Intellivision and think that their kids are going to get the same feeling out of it. It might happen. I'm not saying it's an impossibility, but that's the feeling that's going to drive these consumer purchases. Is that
right? I hate to even do it and bring it up because when we do, we're just going to get lambasted as fanboys, even though I've been very critical of the company many times. But the Switch brings people back to the living room with multiple multiplayer games in the living room that you can play without being online. It's not isolating. It's more expensive, but you're getting a higher quality product. You're not getting a mobile quality game. So I'm sorry, I still don't believe that there's an actual market for this. I think that there might have been, as we've said, a market for a collection of these style of games. I said to Tommy on Twitter, why can't you put these games out on the Switch? Do a collection on the Switch. You know why? Because no one will buy them if they're on the Switch. Because whenever they did that, remember they did that Kickstarter that failed to update the Intellivision games? No one gave a shit. Yeah.
No one cares.
You need the pomp and circumstance and fluff of a console around it.
Spend around $200, Ian, for the opportunity to play updated Intellivision games. Because we know that if we're putting on the App Store for $1 or $2, yeah, we'll sell some and make some money, but we're not going to make the amount of bread we're going to make by selling wholesale to Target, potentially Walmart, and Bed Bath & Beyond. Because that's the play here. The play is to sell the consoles. And at that point, who cares what happens? Because no one's going to spend $200 on individual games, but they'll spend $200 on the console.
Sure.
And then you got the majority of the person's money at that point. Because I can't imagine a housewife or some guy going into Bed Bath & Beyond seeing this for $200 and saying, yeah, I'm going to take a shot at this for $200 to play these updated Intellivision games, and then go home and spend another $100 to buy, I don't know, 8 to 10 more games. Right. Or 15 games you can get for $100. It's for $4 each or $5 each.
So, yeah.
we got the insider info. Now we're in the guys' cubicles. You can't get much more insider than that, right?
And they showed a Breakout demo.
Okay, the Breakout demo is interesting.
What'd
you think about it? It's on YouTube.
I like Breakout a lot. I like paddle and brick games in general. It looks fine. I noticed that there was some English that being applied to the ball, so there's something going on.
It's not just
curving.
Going straight.
There's curving and stuff.
Like the music.
Going on.
The music is interesting.
The music was fine. It looks good, and no joke, it's something I would definitely play, but not
for $200.
Not for almost around
$200.
Not for around $200. And I mean, it has the official name, and sure, that's Amiko exclusive. But I can find plenty of games like Breakout that are going to satisfy that.
Yes.
That itch. So, and once again, I'm not even trying to insult the devs here. It looks like a fine game.
Yeah.
It looks fine.
It looks great.
But it's not going to sell me on a $200 system.
You have a $200 artificial paywall to get behind before you can play $1 and $2 mobile games. I cannot stress enough that this is the strategy of the console.
Yeah, or free games with ads.
Well, that'd be funny if they have to do that.
No, I'm not saying they would have to. I'm saying
you can get a Breakout type game for a couple of bucks, or maybe free with ads, or buy and unlock some bonus shit.
Yeah, and I could play it for as long as it's going to amuse me, which could be a day to, I don't know, a week before I don't go back to it. And it costs me nothing or pocket change. And
the control will be the exact same as using your cell phone. I mean, you're playing Breakout, you need up and down.
Yep.
Maybe a button to fire, or you just get a
they added the lasers, and they had the multi-ball.
I'll just say this: I don't like horizontal Breakout. That just kind of fucks with me. It's more like Pong at that point. I just like having vertical. That's just me. And a cell phone works with vertical.
My guess is that since you can, I don't know what they would do with the TV. My guess is if you could play that on the phone, you can probably orient the phone. See, I'm accidentally calling the controller the phone. If you can play it on the controller, you can probably tilt it to whatever, look you want. But
so I can get Brick's Break Request has 10,000 reviews, 4.5 stars. There's literally 2 different Atari Breakout that are official Atari Breakout ones. Old school, there's a ton of these out here.
Yeah, of course.
You just got to find a fancy one that looks like that. But there's got to be dozens of Breakout clones on your phone. Breakout of Fire. That's a funny name. So anyway, all right. Anything else to add here?
No.
Ooh, Brick Breaker Classic, bricks and balls. Anyway, all right. That's about it for now. I'm sure we'll get another video where Tommy has to drive down his Ferrari to pick up a hack YouTuber in order to make himself look better because his feelings got hurt about some opinionated podcasters. But for now, it is what it is.